Alrighty, good evening everybody and welcome back to SimtraxBroadcasting. We come to you live here from Langley Speedway where we're going to find out who will be crowned tonight's winner for the King of Langley 150. A lot of drivers out there are already going ahead and circling Jonathan Platt, Nick Nickerson, or Curtis Yancey to be some of the fastest guys out there, and by their qualifying time it'll be just that. All three of them will be starting in our podium positions. Connor Gibson not far behind will be sitting fourth, and David Lakey, fast time from the 84 machine, he'll be starting in fifth. Qualifying has just completed now. Currently drivers getting ready there for their drivers meeting to get lined up, talk about what tonight's race is and what changes will be made. Let's go ahead and take a look at what those changes may or may not be here. Some of these may be familiar, others will not. That 100% fuel limit should be pretty confident here all season. It will be that. Races will actually teeter between 150 to 125 laps. Tonight, 150. We'll be stopping at lap number 70 for them to come down, throw a set of 4 tires on if they have an opportunity, and get back out there onto the track after some damage control. All right, one change we'll see here tonight. 2 sets of tires will be down in the pits. That's going to be a huge win for these drivers since Langley is so flat. A lot of drivers you'll see slinging into these turns. I expect to see some wall banging out there more than off of each other. You'll see drivers drop the left side off onto the apron, end up a little bit of a spin out. I know some of the guys here tonight actually have been working on a lot of the traction control out there, seeing if they can maintain around these turns at a decent amount of speed. Without speed, without traction, we're not winning a race here tonight, so they're going to be trying very, very hard to charge forward. This is, of course, being a modified fixed setup league where they have made adjustments to the car out there to make them easier to drive for all, and they will have, fortunately, one faster pair. I'll be your lead producer and commentator tonight. Dalton Kilroy doing an awesome job. He's kicking it off as our RC here for Season 15. Glad he is up there. You can tune into his stream as well. I think you'll also have an opportunity to possibly see through his VR headset as to what he sees. So anything in question, you'll know where he was looking, and hopefully it's down there on the track. So speaking of the track, Langley is a pretty flat track, extremely hard to get around here, and I would say it's rather difficult when these drivers try to get going, try to make a solid banking turn, and there's no banking. We're going to see it just slightly hump up. I believe it's less than 8 degrees, so this feels like a Martinsville, but then we put them with the late model cars, and it's going to be extremely difficult, especially with 120 degrees out there on the track. Awesome for the tires up front. Once we get around lap 35 to 40, it's going to be a killer. If this does not go under caution over and over and over and over again, I think we're going to have an awesome race here. I think everybody here is kind of holding their breath to see what everybody else is going to do out there on the track. Very difficult for these guys to get around. Are they going to be able to maintain traction? Are they going to be able to stay fast? And that's going to be the big question here tonight. I've seen Bill Harkins out there a couple of times give a little bumping and banging out there to Ethan Sikorsky, but a driver I've seen lose the most control out here tonight, you would not believe, Jonathan Platt in the 43. This driver I've actually seen, he's very confident. He's gone 2 for 2 here so far this season, looking to see if he can get the trifecta here, but he is not confident. He even said last week this is not his least confident track he is arriving at, but he will be starting in that number 1 position, no doubt. So, great. Awesome. Jonathan Platt, he can nail a fast time, but let's see how he does out there in a crowd. Plenty of drivers out here joining us here tonight. I believe Jackson Knock will grace us with his presence out there on the track in the 00. Haven't had an opportunity to see much of the OxyClean machine out there making some headway on the track. So we'll be kind of rooting on the Knockster out there, and we'll see how he does. I believe there he is, back of the line here. He'll be starting behind currently Kevin Foster. Now, Kevin Foster, he's one that you do not want to sleep on. The number 8, going to be tough out there. He's going to be looking to see if he can follow through. Now, currently, we saw some changes that were made to the league, different ways that these guys handled the cautions out there, how they handled the stoppage, how we handled the restarts. We noticed we waited for the green flag to come out. The drivers went around one complete time, hit the restart zone, and were able to get going. One, it stopped a lot of our timing and tower messing up out there. It helped with our restarts from our drivers. We didn't have a whole lot of restart crashes, and we cut our cautions over half the amount that we had in race number 1. We are hoping, and even Kevin Foster is as well, hoping for even better here tonight. Now, I'm super excited to see how Langley will be treating us here tonight. A couple of drivers, honestly, Nick Nickerson, I did not think we would see him out here tonight, but he did make it. Victor Weaver out there in the 18, he's going to be looking to see if he can kind of recover back. He's been having a tough couple of nights here. The number 18, I believe, was eliminated race number 1. He got bumped and banged around out there after disqualification. And that is another point I'd like to bring up. Disqualification tonight. We've noticed some of these guys have ended up with some drive-throughs. Originally, I believe we were starting somewhere around the 16 incident mark, which means you can hit another car 4 times before you drive down pit road. As a drive-through under green. That has been extended to 22. Beyond that, it will be somewhere between 5 and 6 incident points before they serve another drive-through. And then once we hit 32 incident points, which means you can make contact with the car 8 times, and these guys end up going disqualification and getting put back in the trailer. I don't think we'll see a lot of disqualification, seeing that we've opened that up for these guys to have the opportunity to push through, to race amongst each other. I mean, I don't know about you guys out there in the chat, but when I look at a race like this, flat track, big engine, shovel-nosed car, I mean, very hiked up in the back end, we're going to be pushing each other around. There's no doubt. There's going to be a ton of contact between drivers and from drivers into the into the wall. I mean, it's just going to be so much contact out here. And you may also hear, as we're broadcasting here, that you will hear cars contacting the wall. They'll be scrubbing the edge of that concrete out there, and it's going to be extremely tough for these guys to keep that car in one piece. But you'll see, I don't think there's anybody out here who feels they have gotten enough practice here. A little bit laggy on the practice out there for the guys to get out there and have an opportunity to try to lay down some laps. Right now, we're keeping an eye on the 82 of Paul Wilson out there as he goes ahead and starts knocking down even more. One to circle out there is the 94 of Ethan Sikorsky. This guy, during practice just today, put down over 110 laps of practice to make sure he was ready for tonight. Now, did he run almost a full race before tonight? Yes. Could this actually hinder him tonight on his fatigue rate? We're going to be seeing this guy out here now running 110 laps during practice and then another 150 here for the race. So when that direct drive wheel's fighting you back, that wheel's swinging around everywhere, or his arm's going to be jello by the time we get to the end. So watch Ethan Sikorsky, because his team he's leading here this season are going to be depending on him. With Curtis Yancey and Jonathan Platt down there, they're going to be feeling very confident. Currently, the CPR team with Carter Phillips, Eddie Hagge, and Jason Greenwell. Eddie Hagge is another driver who would love to get in that front pack. But man, I would say if Eddie Hagge could figure out how to get a good qualifying time, he would be top 5. And especially from a previous season winner, I really think that Bill Harkins, I would say his suggestion of shooting into the late models here has really tripped everybody up. We've seen him in the Xfinity cars. We've seen him in the next gen cars. We've seen him in the 87s. I mean, now we take them, and this is almost the elementary model. Everybody has to get through the late models or the Welland series or even the ARCA cars to get into NASCAR. We pull these guys all the way back with the experience that they have racing these other cars and let them go for it here. And really, it's trying to bring it back to the basics. Guys, learn how to drive, work around one another, get used to drivers being in your door, and then we'll figure it out if we continue with the seasons with the Bandit Racing League. That's another great option here for drivers to really need to consider what will be next. I don't know about you. I try to catch you guys out there in the chat a bunch. I know it's Jay, first one hanging out here with us, and Robin Allen. All right. Hopefully everything goes well here tonight. I'm showing currently over 20 drivers ready to go here. Even I see Mailbox Media. That'll be Jackson Knock and I pray he is not going to be texting and driving here tonight. So I'm hoping he's staying tuned in. I see Robin Allen rooting on Weaver for dead last, though. Oh, boy. Already at it. And Patsy Steele out here rooting on the 84. All right. Well, David Lakey currently during his practice run here. Looks like he'll be hanging out currently 11th. I think he's just trying to get a solid feel for this track and get ready to get back out there. Notice that track has cleaned up a little bit, though. That is pretty nice. We did see a ton of marbles actually built up onto the track. That notice the rubber wasn't cleaned up, and that is some of what I'm nervous about. You see everybody all piled up in the corner over there. Yuck. No, they'll be heading to the backup cars. Not something you really want to be doing this early here, but warm-up should be finishing here. Nice deep breath. Everybody getting ready to go here. And, yeah, looks like the 84 is going to be heading to a backup car. Jonathan Platt will be quickly running out. I guess this will be, well, this will be different. Okay, Robin, I got you. Definitely trying to keep it reverse of what we're doing. All right, stage will be stopping at lap number 70. Like I said, that is normally their time to get 4 tires. I would question if anybody takes fuel. I would try to keep the least amount of fuel. Unless you're having a problem with rear downforce, then you want to fill up that tank again, use the weight in the back, and try to squish it down. All right, let's go ahead and get ready here for our race. What do you say we take a look at our starting grid here for tonight? Pace car getting ready to take on off here, and yep, just about. They're about ready to go. Jonathan Platt and Nick Nickerson, 1 and 2. Curtis Yancey sitting 3rd, and Connor Gibson sitting in that 4th spot. Congratulations on those 4. Moving on to row number 3, David Lakey and Bill Harkins. Harkins getting a high shot. He's going to be starting right outside the top 5. Eddie Hagge sits in 7th, and Ethan Sikorsky for 8th. Moving on to Paul Wilson, starting in the 9th position, rounding out our top 10 is, of course, Bob Berry in the 75. Matt Crockett been pretty chatty out here in the Discord chat, but we got to get a little more from him and from a podium position. He said he's going to be aiming for it here tonight, sitting in 11th. Jackson Knock rounding out the top 12 there. Moving on to Jason Greenwell, Carter Phillips, Logan Murray, and Justin Zemecki all the way back in 16th. Nolan Gross in 17th. Kevin Foster and Victor Weaver dead last here. They'll be starting all the way here in the back. Yuck, I don't know if Kevin Foster, a little bit of a late start here, was unable to get to the track on time. So 19 drivers would I show currently, yes, currently registered, locked in, ready to go. Grid is set. Match is made. Jonathan Platt, Nick Nickerson here in the front. Pace car heading on off. And we're about to get under green. Green flag is out. Waiting on Jonathan Platt. He's driving all the way around. Remember, 1 lap. Caution laps do not count in this league. So they will be resetting it here and getting underway. Give it just a moment. As Jonathan Platt and Nick Nickerson hold the field back. Expect Curtis Yancey to be on the move soon. He's going to want to jump to the front because we may be going under caution very quickly. I expect to see a quick hiccup right here at the beginning. But what do you say we get this underway? Under green, here we go. Drivers 1, 2, and 3, Platt, Yancey, Nickerson already sliding on through. Expect drivers to start sliding off the table a little bit as they nudge the edge of the apron. They'll be getting super loose here. Eddie Hagge watching Bill Harkins starting to weave around just a little bit, and Yancey's up in position. So Yancey's now up to 2nd. Nickerson drops back a little bit. Couple of drivers sneaking down onto the bottom and trekking us out whether pit road, whether they're coming in or not. Low and flat as this is getting. Knock is moving up 1. Logan Murray has gained 2 from 15th up to 13th. Not bad. It does leave Justin Zemecki trying to see if he can fire on through. Having a hard time getting around the 83 of Jason Greenwell. That's all the way back there in the 14th, 15th spot here. Foster drops down to dead last. He's going to be sitting there fighting to see if he can get back on track. I don't know if he's a little off his game here tonight, but it seems a little unusual for Kevin Foster. honestly, might be an opportunity that Kevin Foster trying to hang back a little bit, let these guys wreck each other out, and then he'll attack later on in the run. But I would say that's a pretty gutsy call if that's what he's considering on doing. Platt still holding on, knocking down the fastest time here of the night, 16:15, as he continues to charge forward. Little fumble here by Bill Harkins, and he's going to fall to Eddie Hagge, who slices to the inside. Hagge moves up to sixth now. Harkins down to seventh. So he made a little bit of a mistake there, and that's exactly what drivers are looking for. Wait for the mistake, make the attack. Dive bomb here by Paul Wilson. It's on the outside, but it's not him that's making the jump to the inside. It's Ethan Sikorsky. That's the 94 machine I warned you about. Currently Jackson Knock following close behind. Appreciate you guys joining us here. I see Missy out there rooting on Foster and Nickerson. Well, Nickerson's doing a heck of a job. He fought back and cut Yancey back down to size. And Jonathan Platt will now have a mirror full of the number 2 machine. So that's going to do an excellent job there. Let's rotate through our field. Connor Gibson slicing down to the bottom of the field. He's still holding 4th. Top 5 unchanged, back to their original qualifying positions. And Carter Phillips, our only driver who's actually been on the wind backwards. Number 30 down 3 here. He's now down to 17th. Almost a second and a quarter beyond that is Kevin Foster. As he works on Victor Weaver here. Victor Weaver now to the outside. And I would say, due to the amount of drivers that showed up for practice on Tuesday, some of this may be showing a little bit of its head here of guys who are unable to figure out this track here. The ones who have practiced have been able to get out there onto the track. One we are desperately waiting for is the driver Benjamin Lacey. We're definitely waiting for the Real Earth Films number 7 to return. I'm definitely on the edge of my seat. It's a heck of a driver. I love seeing race out here. We've not seen the opportunity so far this season. Let's take a peek back here at Nickerson. Nickerson trying to loosen up the 43 here. Opportunity to the inside. Not going to have it though. So Nickerson fighting at Jonathan Platt, shooting to the inside, but Yancey waiting to attack if he slips. See Hambone out there saying just got to keep it clean until the end. And yep, you were 100% right. I don't want to go ahead and jinx anything right now, but this is looking really, really good here. Take a look from Nick Nickerson, right front wheel here, as he keeps taking shot after shot, looking to the inside. Platt has noticed riding that left front, the left side tires on that line seems to be a good defensive move and seems to get him through the turn solid, clean, and fast as he remains in the lead here for all 17 laps of the beginning of this race. Platt, Nickerson, Yancey, Connor Gibson, David Lakey sitting in 5th. I think Lakey is about to be under fire here by Eddie Hagge, but let's check on Ethan Sikorsky. As Bill Harkins, another mistake here. Same turn number 2. Has to fly to the outside. Harkins to 9th, almost to 10th. Here comes Knock to the inside. Unfortunately, Bill Harkins is going to be the light here on our broadcast. Unfortunately, he is winding back. That now gives him one more position lost than our 2 guys in the back of Jason Greenwell and Carter Phillips. Both those guys have lost 3. Bill Harkins up to 4 now. Bob Berry, one of his fine teammates and guys he likes racing with out there. Those 2 have been racing together for a long time. I think Bob Berry will try to give him his space here and let Bill try to work this out. I don't know the thing how he's working that out. Checking out there in the chat. Even Jay is saying, look how close that fender is to the tire. Yeah, she's close. Y'all see how close these drivers are getting to each other out there. David Lakey, like I said, is about to be in some deep trouble here as Hagge takes a look. Zemecki gives us a little blink out there as he trips out and comes right on back. Here comes Hagge to the inside. Currently is David Lakey watching the 97 go on around. Tough race here so far. Let's check back in on Nickerson. Nickerson, there's his mistake. Catches it between 3 and 4. Yancey there to jump on it. Let's say we sit along here with Nickerson, see if anything's going wrong with his race car here. Nickerson a little loose coming out of 2 there. Slides just a bit. Yancey taking a look to the inside. But as you guys ride along here, notice he is not full throttle. Coming out of that turn. He's getting about half throttle, 3/4 throttle until it straightens up, and then he's fully on it. So these are currently our top 3 up front. Great job. Let's check back in on Jackson Knock. Knock looking to the inside of Sikorsky here. Sikorsky gets bumped to the outside. Knock opening it up. That's 5 on the night. Great job by our Knockster out there, as he now slides into the 7th position. Continuing on, Haggy had taken down David Lake as we were along our ride along there with Nickerson. Bill Harkins still having trouble slowing the bleeding here. He's down to 11th. Zemecki and Logan Murray have been on the charge forward. They'll be looking to do much of the same. Here's Nolan Gross to the outside. And first caution here of the night is out. I think Bill Harkins is our guy around. That boy ain't got, that car has not been hooking up for him here tonight, as he is one of our main contributors of getting our cars set up to drive out here at the track, and unfortunately this one slips him up. All right, drivers getting lined back up here after the little mix-up there from Bill Harkins. We'll go back and take a look and see what gets Bill out of shape here. Bob Berry made the pass. I'm wondering if this is... Whoop! I think Bob Berry was a little worried about that wall coming up and biting him there. Bill gets into the back of him. Bob Berry doesn't seem like he received any damage. Let's take a look from Bob Berry's angle. Ooh. Pinched him right there. Alrighty, so first caution comes out here tonight. Bill Harkins on his way down into pit road. I don't expect him to do any fast repair here. We'll keep an eye. Ooh, he's going to take that extra set of tires now. Yeah, I would question taking a look at anybody else. Only driver to come down pit road currently. We'll see how all this fares. Look like he is going to get out of there without going a lap down, which is always a positive. So able to throw on 4 sets of a set of tires, all 4. And get back out there on the track without going a lap down. So 30 miles an hour down into pit road, 35 by the pace car, so he is able to beat it. So Robin Allen out there kind of rooting on, saying shouldn't have any problems here. No, everything's squared away. You know, these guys are racing really hard. And I got to admit, you know, the racing is kind of crummy when we're under yellow all the time. So pace car heads on off. We'll be getting underway here in just a moment. So we made it almost just about 30 laps before our first caution comes out. Hopefully they can do that again. I would love to see them race all the way to the stage. As you set drivers up, this is their opportunity. Here comes Jonathan Platt. He'll get a solid restart from that outside line as he waves goodbye to Curtis Yancey. Nickerson's got to see if he can fight off Connor Gibson and keep him to the outside. Haggy slides up into Lakey, and he gets on around. Lakey now to 5th. Oh, Lakey actually getting bumped back here, now down to 7th. Currently 3 wide as Bob Berry splits it here, sends it right up the gut. Now to 9th. Boy, he's definitely mixing it up here. As you can see, Zemecki is starting to push on the back of Ethan Sikorsky. Isn't that a mouthful? All right, let's check back in on Jason Greenwell. Jason Greenwell here to the outside of Nolan Gross. He's getting ready to send it 3 wide. Yes, sir, right up the center. Nolan Gross is going to be able to fight out of there. That gives him the opportunity now up to 12th. Not bad. There's the bump and run. Quick little push here by, I believe, the 15 machine of Matt Crockett. Yes, it is. Matt Crockett gave a huge shove there on the inside line. Fortunately, he did not suffer any damage out there. As they continue on, Victor Weaver working on Kevin Foster again. We'll check back in on Eddie Hagge, who's gained up to 4th. He got around David Lakey, got Lakey out of shape. He falls back. Lakey still back in 7th. And Eddie Hagge securing 4th, and looks like he's starting to get comfortable. So currently still in the lead is Jonathan Platt. Looks like we got a little shuffle up on our tower up here. So I think a couple of things have happened out there on the track. A couple of our timing marks getting all messed up. These drivers are not doing 182 miles an hour. They're doing about 100 miles less than that. As Jonathan Platt still hangs on to the lead here. So it looks like everybody starting to settle it down a little bit here. But do not turn your nose away to Curtis Yancey. This guy's got it on the ropes here. Only catching up here. Ethan Sikorsky sitting back here in the dead last spot. Looks like some front end damage here to Ethan Sikorsky. Well, some smoke there on the front straightaway. I think Ethan Sikorsky might have gotten tangled up in something out there. Because not only is Sikorsky, but Crockett's got some damage. Crockett is also down in 18th. So I'm wondering if Ethan Sikorsky looped it, but not enough to bring out a caution. And that is what brought us to not bringing out anything, to take a look at what he had going on. So Ethan Sikorsky in danger going down a lap. He's going to go ahead and sling to the outside. He's got damage on the front and the left side of that machine, as he is heading back, and not stopping. As Boomer would definitely be a good one for that call. All right, Ethan Sikorsky looks like he can slow it down a little bit. He tucks in behind Eddie Hagge, who's currently there in the 4th position. Let's see if I can find a quick peek here at what happened to Ethan Sikorsky. I think I might have something here. We're going to take a peek. I don't know, as he has already received damage, I think, by this point, here on lap 34. I'm showing he had a problem here. Well, there's a nudge here. There's Zemecki. There's the problem. Clink, and that did not bring out a caution. And Ethan Sikorsky is around and involved 3 other vehicles. So Sikorsky actually gets looped around there, and I'm checking back here on lap 34 is when that tied him up. So that shuffles the field up a little bit here, especially for our drivers in the back that would love to be charging forward. Let's check in on great Jason Greenwell. Greenwell under fire here. Trucking with Big Country out there. What's going on, Patrick? Hey, buddy, how's it going? Got a ton of racing out here. We're here with the late models and the Bandit Racing League. Got a few guys, only 1 caution here on the night, but a lot of damaged cars. Currently, we're taking a look at Jason Greenwell. He's got some damage to the right front of his vehicle here so far. And also, Ethan Sikorsky's got some damage to his. He would love a quick caution. That way he can try to see if he can pull the fenders out on that one. But Jason Greenwell does move up to the 14th position. Appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. If you guys want to chat out there, don't forget, you got to hit subscribe. Wait about a minute, and they'll go ahead and let you start slinging messages here. If there are things you want to see or any questions you want to ask, or you want to chat with your fellow friends out there, that's the way to do it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few of our other guys. Kevin Foster still taking a fight and a peek down here on the bottom. Foster now up to 14th. I'm feeling a little better about his charge forward. Currently, he's been tumbling around here in the back. He is desperately trying to desperately trying to get through. All right, let's check in on Carter Phillips. Phillips here to the inside. Wow, does he whip it through there. Takes and snaps it to the side. The 30 of Carter Phillips getting around the 82. Currently has the 82 of Paul Wilson here to the outside. Oh, Bill Harkins sends it into the back of Zemecki. Zemecki in the 03 looking to see if he can push on around. You might remember Zemecki from the first race. Actually had a J3 on there, but he was able to finish out the O. Finally get his paint job squared away. So Zemecki moving on up front. Currently Nickerson and Yancey are going at it there. It looked like Yancey had a little fumble. And Nick tried to take an opportunity, but both these guys are a second off pace now. Platt has finally been able to plant and go. And he is scrambling to see if they can reel him back in, but it might just be a fight between these guys with only 15 laps to go before we get to the stage. Currently we rotate back here to Carter Phillips. Looks like Zemecki's going to make the clear. That's 7 positions gained for him. Total of 14 for both Logan Murray and Zemecki on their gained places here tonight. And currently Murray to the inside of Lakey. Boy, tell you what, if there's a couple of guys we might want to take a look at here, is what is going on with the tire savings. And it looks like the number 4 and the 03 have got this thing locked in. Honestly, that is from the J3 Gross Motorsports. And that might be exactly what they're looking for. Second caution comes out here tonight. As I don't know if Carter Phillips and Bill Harkins may have gotten into it. Don't know 100%. You guys out there check on who is leading in the damage points. I do not get a count check for incident points out there, but we will keep an eye. I saw Carter Phillips head to pit road, I thought, there for a second. We lost him for quite a while there. Let's see if we can take a look back and see if Bill Harkins and Carter Phillips got into it here. Yeah, from the look of this, when this starts, this looks like Bill Harkins almost seems frustrated coming into the turn here. Something looks a little off. Because Bill's following the 30 here. Look how he's already aiming to dive in. He's trying to get underneath of him here, triangulate that turn, and he's doing whatever it takes to try to get around the number 30 there of Carter Phillips. Well, unfortunately, that turns around and bites him here. So drivers considering coming down into pit road. Paul Wilson will be a taker. I expect Ethan Sikorsky to come down. He's got damage. But it looks like he's going to continue rolling around here. So not bad here, ladies and gentlemen. 70 laps into this one. Currently showing 60 on the chart. That they've gone around this track. And only our second caution is out for the night. Ethan Sikorsky might be radioing up to his guys, asking how the damage is on that car. The ESR team trying to tell him something. As he's back there around the Connor Gibson area. Lucky dog on around here, I believe. So I was told out there in the rules that it is the Lucky Dog's option and choice that they need to be on the ball to get around. He should be driving around the pace car here, but I currently see him stuck. I'm wondering if they're waiting for this one to go here. And I believe what's going to happen is when the green flag comes out, remember they drive around one lap and then go, that's when Sikorsky's allowed to go. There we go. So Sikorsky on around. And it is Sikorsky's job to try to time this thing if he can. Then when that green flag comes out, try to sling past him here. Might be a heck of an idea. How we looking? Yeah, he's gonna be there way early. That's all right. They'll go ahead and punish somebody as soon as they try it. Boy, he's trying to set that up though. Getting close. All right, let's check back to our leaders. Jonathan Platt, here we go. 11 laps left to go here before our stage. Let's get back to it. So far this season has been all Platt, Yancey, and Nickerson. And it looks like Jackson Knock is getting ready to throw his hat into the ring as he's up to 4th. Not bad here as this guy's been scrambling to find some practice time. He's got it nailed down. As Knock is currently sitting 4th. Connor Gibson is now, unfortunately, dropped down to 5th from his original 4th place qualification spot. Eddie Hagge hard hit. A little knock to the wall there as he definitely scrubs that right side. Let's see if that does cause any damage to that right front fender. It does look like it's pushed in just a hair. They'll have plenty of opportunity when they come down pit road to square this thing away. That might be the reason that Ethan Sikorsky did not come down into pit. He knows he's got 10 laps, and then he's got 5 minutes to sit in pit and get that thing squared away. See Fubar Studio veteran out there saying you raced this place last week. Yeah, she's pretty tough. And Connor Gibson is seeing a little bit of that as now he slides out of the top 5. Haggie's now in. Pretty tough as Hagge dives back into turn number 1 and 2. You notice how they get into the turn and hard on the brakes to get a solid lean in. Tough racing here so far. Expect Yancey to make a shoot for it here as he gets just a little bit closer to the 43. High wide turn from the 51, trying to get a roll through. He's getting close here. 4 to go. Pretty solid here. Everybody will be able to get under pit road, put the tires on that they desperately need. Yancey looking to the outside here. Nickerson trying to fill the gap. He's trying to make sure Yancey either gets down or makes this pass. Nickerson trying to capitalize. So we see a couple of things do keep shifting around here. Yancey looking to the outside again. Nickerson closing the gap. Can't get it. Yancey, I don't think has the tire life to fight it here. As they continue churning on through. This has been all Jonathan Platt's race. This guy cannot seem to be stopped here. Great job up front. Currently it is showing he has led every lap here tonight. 1 lap left to go. I will double check here. My gut tells me this might have been a lap too early. Should have been as the leader crosses the line for lap 70. We should be under caution. So everything looks okay. No damage to any cars. I do see Victor Weaver a little bit slow here. Get back underway. I don't know if he's making an adjustment. I see Fubar out there recommending I get back with the NSR League. Yeah, we just got to get you guys squared away a little bit out there. I know there's a lot of tough driving out there, and you guys got to get a few more cars wrangled in. I think you guys, if you just kind of get back to the basics, put things like a super speedway series together, I think that might start roping a lot of guys in. That might definitely feed everyone out there. Currently, I do see a drive-through by a couple of these guys. I don't blame them. I might have missed pit there. This track very, very skinny out there with finding pit road and finding their pit stall. So they'll be coming down into pit road. That is Zemecki and Nolan Gross. And we will have, hopefully, an opportunity to have a conversation with a couple of these guys. Normally, I like talking to some of these guys in the front, but notice how the passing is extremely tough. So we might nix our top 3. Our guys on the move, though, are the ones I enjoyed talking to. Ethan Sikorsky didn't get a favorable run here, with especially as much as he was getting pushed around, but I notice he is out there having a conversation with race control. So if you guys think this during warm-up or during this long pit stop, things aren't happening, there's a ton happening out there on the track. So very, very difficult for these drivers to be pushing around, but hopefully we will have the opportunity to talk to the number 75 machine of Bob Berry. Bob, you got a copy on me here, buddy?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
Beautiful. All right, Bob, tough race out here tonight. Looked like Bill got into the back of you at one point. Talk to me about what's going on with the race car in this track.
Yeah, it's Bill and I both having the same problem. I don't know what is different in the race because I have never gotten this tight in any of the practice that we were running. It's like a dump truck right now.
Really? Okay. Can anything be changed out there? Would brake bias change, or is the right side tires just frying off this thing?
As it stands right now, my right front was pretty much gone. I'm playing with brake bias now to see what I can do to change it up, but fingers crossed, we'll see.
Okay, I know a lot of drivers kind of were hinting a little bit of rear brake bias, being able to shift it so far to the back to help the car pivot. I didn't know, with Langley having such little banking out there, man, have you been able to find any success? It seems when drivers get around one another, the car is exactly how you say it tightens up, and then drivers almost magnetize toward each other.
Yeah, that's what it's seeming like. I mean, I am finding if you use the apron a little bit, it definitely helps to set the car, but it's hard to catch it just right.
All right, Bob. Well, we hope the best for you on this second half. A lot of drivers still pushing forward. I know Zemecki and a lot of these guys are starting to really shuffle forward. If you can figure out how to loosen up that car, buddy, I'd love to see you make the top 5 run. Oh, good luck to you out there, buddy.
We're going to be going for it. Thank you, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. That is Bob Berry, everybody, and we'll hopefully have an opportunity to grab a hold of the 18 car if he'll allow us. Let's check out there. Victor Weaver, are you alive? Or did he walk away? Did he get out of the car? Victor. I don't know. The left side's still up on him. Uh-oh. Well, Robin, I'd love to tell him to hit the gas, but he's no talkie. Well, maybe Victor Weaver will be able to come back. No, you can't say I didn't try. We tried to grab him there and see what in the world he had to say. One driver I do want to poke at, though, and we're going to see if we can stick our finger in the sore spot, the 94 machine here of Ethan Sikorsky. All right, Ethan, rooting you on here, buddy, but we've got a ton of damage to that race car. What the heck happened out there?
I don't know. Just chaos, and I was around.
Excellent. Let's talk. I'll tell you what happened, buddy. It seemed you got dumped there, banged around, pinballed a little bit, and it ended up facing the field and not getting the favorable caution that I'm sure you desperately needed. You have been fighting back from a lap down, trying to recover from this, and I saw you up there with RC, and Spidey senses tell me we didn't get anywhere.
I mean, I got back in the lead lap, so that's a positive, but yeah. Got a lot of work to make up, but I'm sure I can get back up there. Just pretty much sum up my start of my season so far. Just chaos and death and sadness.
I was gonna say it's probably exactly what's happening out there, you know. And it's hard to avoid when you get to a track like this. These late models are extremely difficult out there, but you got what is a good positive we can take away from this?
Tire management, really. That's pretty much what I've been learning with these cars as a whole, is just how to manage your tires, and I think I've been doing pretty good. It's just have not had good luck. Which is a shame, because I really like these cars.
Well, that's almost how it sums up, and I would say some of these races, that is exactly how it breaks down. It's sometimes it's just luck, man. You get out here, you have a heck of a race, and sometimes, I mean, you even put so much practice time, and I actually questioned if you were going to have a fatigue problem out here. I saw you over 110 laps run during practice, and that's just tonight. And then we're running a 150-lap race tonight, and that's not including caution laps. I mean, how do you stay fresh and try to be still spunky when we're here at the end?
Just stay out of trouble. Pretty much.
All right, well, that's easier said than done. It looks like you got a few guys bumping and banging out there. But, Ethan, I'm going to let you get to it. It looks like everybody's shuffling back out.
All right, thank you.
All right, everybody, as Ethan Sikorsky, we'll get him back to his team. I do not want to get him out of out of sync here. They are getting these guys lined back up onto the track. I like this theory here, where everybody kind of getting set up in line. That way they can follow the pace car for a couple of laps and get ready to go here. All right, so a couple of them still shuffling out. I think currently the 82 of Paul Wilson might be getting the back of his hand slapped here as they wait for him to get around. Uh-oh. Yep. See, and this is a little bit of fumble we have sometimes. As we take a look here from the top of the 82 machine, a little out of line here. Matt Crockett, I believe, is our only driver a lap down. I don't know if this competition caution will allow him his lap back. So we'll see if the Liquid Death machine that is in the blinding green is going to be able to get back onto the lead lap and keep all of our 19 drivers who attended and racing here tonight able to go. So pretty excited about tonight's race. Do like you guys out there chatting it up. I definitely wish it was about something else. Other than what Victor Weaver was doing. All right, Robin Allen asking if he gets any incident points through driving through another car. No, not driving through the pace car. The pace car is an unhittable object. But no, you get incident points for going off track. You get a 1x for that. If you bump into the wall, you get a 2x. And then if you make contact with another car. Now, there is certain times contacting another car will not give you any incident points, such as a little nudge or a bump to the door or something like that. But when a driver has a damaging hit, that is a no-go. That's when you get the 4x, and that's when it's pretty detrimental to your race. Ethan Sikorsky would be one of those. You saw him hit not one, not two, but 3 cars. So he just in one spin out had collected at least 12 incident points in contact, and then another 2x for loss of control of the vehicle. So he's got to be finding his P's and Q's here tonight as he tries to rush and scramble to get up front. And hopefully he can get back to it here. So driver still marching around here. Pace car is still on the track here somewhere, as we are still currently under caution. Hopefully we'll be getting back to it. Currently the ESR team loving their positions here tonight. Jonathan Platt sitting in the number 1 spot. I believe Curtis Yancey finished this one out sitting in second. And I believe Connor Gibson right outside, if I remember right outside the top 5. So he should be sitting in the 6th spot. As Eddie Hagge finished in 5th. So CPR team, consisting of Carter Phillips, Eddie Hagge, Jackson Knock, and Jason Greenwell. All those boys are all together. GFR team with Kevin Foster, Paul Wilson, and Nick Nickerson. Nickerson running up front. Paul Wilson sitting right about dead center, and it looked like Foster is all the way in the back. But Paul Wilson and Kevin Foster are sitting right next to each other now. How about that? All righty, there we go. Green flag is out. So we go around one more time and we're ready to go. Robin Allen, that makes it really real. Yeah. Driving to the pace car. That 51 machine. Yeah, I expect Curtis Yancey to try to do something while the tires are fresh. He's going to have to be on the loud pedal here pretty quick. Looks like they extend the caution here. I think we got a problem with Matt and Crockett. Crockett should have gone around here. Yeah, Crockett should have been the lucky dog and gone around unless stage caution does not count. Then he should be in the back of the field. So that might be what they're pushing here. So pace car, you see the lights were on, lights are out, so they are pushing it as a 1 to go. They are not messing around. They want to get this back underway. Definitely get everybody pretty excited there. See Nickerson getting ready to go. Driver on the move, Logan Murray. I'd like to see this guy continue his charge up front. I think this guy's destined for a top 5. He's only got a couple more positions before he's got it. The Skull Machine will have it. Justin Zemecki. I have not seen him here in the league, but he's definitely making something happen and starting to make a name for himself. Unfortunately, last week he was almost the wrecking ball out there. This time he's Speedy Gonzalez, so here we go. Let's get her back under green. 80 laps till we find the end here, and everybody on just about fresh tires here. Let's go. All right, currently underway. Eddie Haggy and Connor Gibson, the ones fighting side by side here. That's for our 5th spot. Battle still underway between those two. Haggy tries to drive up closer to the wall to see if he can pinch him before anything gets through. Haggy gets a little bit loose. Right rear tire definitely feeling the pressure here. Smacks it off the side of the 31 again. Zemecki debating whether he wants to follow along. Does not. Eddie Haggy full clear there. Gets on through. Expect Yancey. I said he's taking a peek there at Jonathan Platt. Is unfortunately coming up empty-handed here. Great job there by Jackson Knock. You can notice a little bit of the driving of expertise there. Tucks the nose underneath the back rear bumper there of Nickerson, and Nickerson's now going to head up high. Currently heading to the inside. That looks like Jackson Knock is going to take a leap of faith here as he tries to move up front. Oh, Haggy wants to go. The seesaw and maneuver. And now it jams up Connor Gibson and works its way back. He bumps and run there a little bit during the middle of that turn. That shuffles the accordion back all the way back to Nolan Gross. So Nolan Gross sees it and looks like he steps to the side. Paul Wilson is now who he's following. We continue on single file here. No one taking any chances. Let's check back in on Paul Wilson here to the inside of Lakey. Lakey with a fast qualifying time has fallen back. He started top 5 here in the race. He's now down to 10th. Currently everybody's scrambling here to figure out where they're going to go, and do you attack now? I would 100% attack now while the tires are fresh. Just work on tire management, but you got to get out front. Yancey's going to need that clean air if he wants to score here. It's currently Jonathan Platt. Every lap here so far, he's lining himself up for his 3rd win here of the season. And it is hard to recover when a guy takes already the first quarter of the season by putting them all in winner's circle. Currently still unchanged up here. Jackson Knox sitting in 4th. Jackson Knox has a good turn exit, a little lagging back on turn entry. So we'll see if that pays off for him a little bit later on with the tire wear. Eddie Haggy sits 5th, Connor Gibson in 6th. Justin Zemecki in our 7th place. Rounding out 8th will be Carter Phillips in the original qualifying position for Paul Wilson as he snugs into 9th, and Lakey down to the 10th spot. Nolan Gross starting his charge after a bumpy first start of the race. He started back in 17th. Now he's up to 11th. Sikorsky able to recover somewhat here tonight, up to 12th. Jason Greenwell 13th. Kevin Foster from the 18th spot up to 14th. Bob Berry back there with Logan Murray, where Logan Murray must have had a huge problem there. He started in 6th, gets shuffled back to 16th. Huge loss here for the number 4 car. Glad this isn't horse racing, or otherwise I'd have just lost. I might be owing the track here. Bill Harkins down to 17th, Matt Crockett to 18th, and Victor Weaver dead last here. I don't know if something happened to the NOS machine. I might need to chug another one of those drinks to get him going here. Let's check back in on our front, guys. Seems no change here. As of yet, Yancey definitely still wrapping that car around on the inside. Noticing Jonathan Platt staying a lot higher than the rest of the drivers here. Wonder if this is some tire conservation. Yancey trying to make up some positions here. Platt trying to block. That might cost him. Here comes Yancey. Now 1, 2, 3. Platt, Yancey, Nickerson. Not getting in the mix. Everybody shuffling around there. Scrubbing just the edge there of pit road entry. Let's check back in on Ethan Sikorsky. I think he's taking a peek here at 11th. As it looks like Nolan Gross, getting knocked off his high top there. As he goes to the inside, and Jason Greenwell. Looks like he's got that north-south pole facing each other there as he's able to get on through, and Nolan Gross is dumped. Caution. Jay out there trying to chat as much as he can. Dude, I have no idea what's going on with your chat. I remember you telling me it was kicking you out and then letting you come back. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'll see if I can get with my moderator here and see what's going on. All right, coming down pit road. So I had a chat with our moderator there, Eddie Haggy, Paul Wilson, Logan Murray, and Kevin Foster. Coming down pit road. I'm wondering if Eddie Haggy knows something's up here. Definitely gives up a good position up front. And tangles up there. So Nolan Gross. Next cause of our caution here. Let's take a look from the top side. I thought Foster tried to dive bomber on in. Nope, Nolan Gross actually came down. Foster had that all to himself. Talk to Bob Berry, and the poor guy gets maimed out there. Well then, 75 gets every single panel there, a different shape. So the 75 will get back out there onto the track. So the Harley-Davidson Sim Magic machine back to the drawing board. Bob Berry back down to 17th here. Harkins now slides up to 12th. After doing some decent wreck avoidance there, he got on through. Victor Weaver real hard on the brakes. He was not interested in getting involved. So Eddie Haggy will be starting back here, if I'm not mistaken, 14th position. Kind of a gutsy call here to slide on back. He decides to take his extra set of tires, though. So I wonder if that'll pay off here. The guys up front are going to be kind of laying back a little bit and trying to stay on the tires that they're already on. I would not want to sacrifice track position here, seeing that it seems to be extremely hard to pass. So we'll see if that does pay off for Eddie Haggy here. We'll root him on here from the broadcast booth. All right, everybody out there in the chat, we're going to see these guys get back under green here. As once again, Jonathan Platt, awesome restart here, but Yancey seemed to have his number on that one. Currently as Jackson Knock looking to the outside of Nickerson here. Nickerson is going to try to ride Jackson Knock up the track. and get him out of shape, and he does. Knock falls back. Oh, but Nickerson slides a little bit, and that allows Knock to stay within range. All right, let's continue. Woo. Boy, you can see Yancey starting to really test what this vehicle can do here. There's a guy who can really rope this car around. It's the 51 machine. He will show you what it can and cannot do. Nickerson getting close. Caution back out. Huge pile up here on the back. Just as Matt Crockett gets a break here. Gets mashed up again. You guys are rooting on more and more of these cautions. I don't think so. Shouldn't be doing that. It looks like Crockett, Harkins, Murray, Lakey, and Weaver. All right, let's see what gets this nasty one out of shape. See up there toward the front, the 84 machine's getting in trouble already. Yep, 84 around. Looked like Paul Wilson got into him. But Paul Wilson did not get away. Actually, he ended up in more than one of these wrecks here. Let's take another look at Paul Wilson. So he gets in the back of Victor Weaver here. Foster's sliding to get out of there. Man. Who in the world is that gets into Lakey? The 94, Sikorsky. So Sikorsky, little nudge there. Boy, it takes out the back half of the field. Remember what I told you about Eddie Hagge? Gutsy move there. He just holds the wheel to the left and cuts through the grass. All right, Jay, hopefully you got an answer from our moderator out there. And we'll square this away, see if we can get you all chatted up here. About to see what's holding you up. Let's see on the back of Curtis Yancey's car, it says, gotta love it. I guess so. Gotta love it as long as you're up front here. The back seems to be a pretty treacherous area. Logan Murray, David Lakey, Victor Weaver, and Bill Harkins currently showing a lap down here. We'll see if that's going to stick. I don't know if that does happen or not. We'll see if we can get this back going. All right, good check-in as well. Miss Patience, how close are we on our 1,000 subscribers? I feel like I was close, and then we started backing off a little bit. I think when we lost the NSR team. They had too many, they had a bit going on out there. All right, let's go ahead and get her back under green here. Jonathan Platt, Curtis Yancey, Nick Nickerson. And Yancey, Yancey gets a little nudge here. Nickerson gets sideways, so does Jackson Knock. And all of them hold on to it. Knock getting the worst of it, though. He is heading on back. He was trying to stay on that inside line, but he's been pushed to the outside. Knock down to 7th. Looks like it's going to continue. Now down to 8th. Watch everybody on the inside line here. Just see if they can keep nose to tail and keep pushing him on back. Here comes the 82. 82 here of Paul Wilson. Looking to take a shot here to the inside. And he's going to have it here. Not clear, though. Hopefully spotter radio's up and tells him, now you're clear. Yancey still sitting just about a quarter of a second off the pace of Jonathan Platt. Wow, that would have been a huge mistake that was in the top 3. If that had actually come about with more problems than none. 972 is where we're at, huh? So close. We'll hit those 4 digits one day. I feel it. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're bringing the excitement here with the Bandit Racing League. This is the late models, and we're out here running for Season 15, the resurrection of the Bandit Racing League. First race, if you guys tuned in, was a massacre. The second race, we had some tumble-ups out there. This race is showing to be a good one. Currently, look at these top 3 right here. I'll tell you what, Yancey is keeping Jonathan Platt looking at that rear view mirror. Fortunately, Jonathan Platt makes very, very few mistakes. And, I mean, look at how he just skims that left tire right close to the grass there. As he blocks Yancey from even thinking about it. Teammate of Connor Gibson watching everything happening up front and trying to see if he can follow the line as well. He might give a little trouble back here to Nickerson. All right, let's see if we can shuffle through our field here just a little bit. I want to see how Kevin Foster's doing. Hey, hot dog. Kevin Foster up to the top 10. Remember, Jackson Knock ended up getting marched back. Well, looks like he's going to be heading back another spot as Foster now puts him under fire. Foster continuing to charge here. 42 laps left to go. They're just about getting pretty close to the halfway mark here. As they slide on around, Foster's now up to 9th. Wow, what a heck of a job here by Kevin Foster. Coming from 18th, and he's past half the field now without getting in too many incidents. Yeah, Jay even saying out there with a little check up there that may be something going on with Carter Phillips here. Phillips marching back and in a hurry. Looks like he got a hard shot to the wall there. Right front fender's folded in. Robin Allen saying we should look under the hood of the Platter car. Let's take a look up here. Looks like Knock is starting to work on Paul Wilson. Trying to get Wilson back. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He pushes him back. A little physical contact there between those two. Keep an eye on the timing tower to see how close Yancey's getting. It looks like he's taking a peek. Not much success, though, as he tries to fight it off. Paul Wilson heading on back. Great job by Ethan Sikorsky. As he's now to 9th, he's sitting here seeing if he can qualify for a top 5 and get through. And he's not going to see if he can qualify. You're past the 82. Oh, boy. Ethan Sikorsky. Gives up not 1 but 2 here. Here comes Eddie Hagge. Remember, his tires are sitting about 25 laps fresher than the rest of the field. I like the call he was making. Questioned it, though. As long as he can stay out of trouble, he's going to continue marching forward. He's sitting 10th. We'll see if he decides to wave goodbye beyond this. Notice how we have a solid separation of 1.6 seconds from Zemecki to Gibson. And that is our 4th and 5th place drivers. So there's an obvious gap out there, which has allowed our top 4 to break away. If this thing could stay under green, I think they'd catch the back of the end of the field here. And we might really be fighting some lap traffic to see who gets around. Jason Greenwell and his damaged car still remain in the 7th position. Jackson Knock knows that. He's going to use it to his advantage. Inside he goes. I made a comment earlier about Jackson Knock having a solid turn exit, and he uses it right there. Boy, look at that tower mix-up. Yuck. As it shuffles everybody up here on the track. Here comes Hagge to the inside of Greenwell as well. Boy, Eddie Haggy on a charge now. He's up to 9th. Apparently, outside the top 10 will not suffice for him. He will continue to roll forward. Speaking of rolling forward, Kevin Foster. Whatever he was on, it wore off. He's now alive. Currently, Kevin Foster now up to 6th. Come on, Kelly Queel, get excited here. The number 8 car is on the move. As Zemecki is up 11, Kevin Foster up 12. And the number 4 car of Logan Murray back in 16th. I still don't understand. Might have to take a peek at what happened to him and why he started 6th and then ended up in the back of the field. All right, regardless here comes Kevin Foster now to 5th. Boy, way to open it up here. For the Perfect Shine Auto Spa, number 8. That's going to put our GFR team really wrangling them together. Nickerson 3rd, Foster is in 5th, and Paul Wilson 9th. Boy, this is definitely turning out to be an awesome race here so far. Appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll have more of this stuff here on Wednesdays here with the Bandit Racing League. If you guys want to tune in for some old Gen 4 racing, you can tune in on Mondays. As we are currently under caution. I must have said something bad about Logan Murray, as he is our driver around here. So the number 4, I was talking about the Gen 4s on Monday. You can check him out at the Nora Racing League, the National Oval Racing Association out there. We are currently getting ready. We finished the Budweiser Shootout. We had qualification last Monday. Gatorade 125s are this upcoming Monday. And after that, we are finally going to bring you the Daytona 500 there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look back here at Logan Murray. What squashes him up here? Whoa, this is actually a 10 times farther forward. So David Lakey gets into the back of Nolan Gross. But it looked like Bob Berry went around with Carter Phillips in the back. It looked like those two were sideways first. Let's take a look. Here comes Bob Berry. Whoop. Berry hooks in there. Gross, Lakey, and Victor Weaver. God. How did Victor make that? How did... All right, show me that again. How did Victor Weaver make it through that? He sees the wreck and then squeezes between a couple of cars here. Let's see if we can slow it down just a hair. Makes the contact and then just barely squeaks by. Nolan Gross. Wow. Now he survives. Well, that's going to move. Let's see, that moves Victor Weaver up to 8th. A little bit of side damage there from the bump. All right, let's see if anybody decides to pit. It looks like yes, except our top 3. Top 3 have yet to pit. Everybody else seems to have pit again back on lap 93-97. And some of our guys with big names, one of them I want to circle here, Nick Nickerson. Pits on lap 127. This is going to give him about a 20-some-odd lap shootout to the end on fresh tires. Justin Zemecki did the same. Jackson Knock, Ethan Sikorsky, Matt Crockett. And a couple of these other guys are some laps down. Jason Greenwell, Carter Phillips, and Bob Berry all came down into pit, and they will all have fresh tires. Boy, that's going to be exciting. Wait to see how that turns out. All right, so pace car heads on off. We head around one more time as our lucky dog works his way around. Appears our lucky dog will be Matt Crockett. I'm not mistaken, that should get him back onto the lead lap. Jonathan Platt will be back in the front here as we get ready to go. All right, drivers with fresh tires are outside the top 10 here. Starting back in the 11th, 12th position. And right now, Platt might want to have it to the floor here because they're going to be coming on hot. Fall off for some of these drivers has been somewhere around about a second area of a fall off here. So if they're only about 4 seconds back, they should make up some ground. Expect Nickerson to be coming on quick. He's now to 8th. He works around some of these other drivers, some worn tires here. Nickerson working that outside line. Here comes Knock looking to the inside, sending it 3 wide. Nickerson jammed up by Lakey. Knock can't find a groove. See if Nickerson can get around Murray here, who's in the 4. As soon as he can clear him, he's going to work on Lakey. Platt still trying to get away from Yancey. Yancey doesn't seem to have anything for him. There's Nickerson, able to clear Murray, slides back down to the bottom, and now he's working on Lakey. These two guys, the 84 and the 2, have got a little bit of a history of blinking, but that's not going to be the problem here. As we've got somebody around out there. See, we end up back under caution. Horrible timing. Let's see what happens. I think it was somewhere toward the back. Oh, wow. What was Jason Greenwell doing? Looked like Jason Greenwell completely missed the pedal. What happened? He's racing next to Zemecki down here. Oh, Zemecki gets into his side. He's already sliding before he gets into the turn. Wow. Well, I can't really say this is 100% Jason Greenwell's fault here. He may have been trying to drive out of a slide. Here's the nudge. See him sliding? Whoop, boink. Catches him. All righty. I'm going to have a chat with my moderator. You do not use any of my sound effects in any montage. Okay? Keep that to yourself. All right. All right, so Jackson Knock. Yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to try to do a little pun. Jackson gets knocked all the way back here to 18th. So the OxyClean machine. I have to figure out how to clean this up and get back to the front. Boy, he was right back up there with Nick Nickerson. And was shuffling with those guys up there. And that does not appear to be in the wheelhouse here. He's going to have to try again. Say Eddie Haggy pitting back on lap 93 is still looking pretty good. He's sitting 5th. But Nickerson's been coming on pretty strong here. 8th place. Right now, Nickerson still does lead all the lap 127 drivers with fresh tires. So we'll see if Nickerson can meet up with the rest of his GFL drivers. Currently, Paul Wilson will be, I believe, starting to his inside. Maybe incorrect there. I think he's actually going to be in front of him. Yep. So currently Kevin Foster, he's sitting 3rd. That means Wilson will be 5th. Nickerson's now slides to 7th. Seeing how the leader is starting here on the outside line. Here we go. Boy. 17 laps left to go here. That's going to be a mix-up. Notice the 31 of Connor Gibson. Couldn't get it to stick there out of turn 2. Here we go. Eddie Haggy in the 97 leaning hard. As they fire on through. Connor Gibson does get it to start sticking here. He gets around Foster. Foster going to give him a little love tap there, a little nudge. There we go, heading into turn number 3. And Foster unable to capitalize. He's going to drop back to 5th as Eddie Haggie's got the favorable inside line. Both Perfect Shine Auto Spot cars side by side. And Nickerson now from 7th to 5th. Here he comes. He's got 14 laps to get it done as Platt crosses the line. And he's got cars side by side in front of him. Haggie sitting in 3rd. Connor Gibson to the outside. Right now we got our eyes fixated on Nick Nickerson here, as we're looking to see if he can pull off a miracle. He'll be able to get up front with a 50-lap tire advantage if he can get there. This will be huge, I guarantee you. Right now, his pit crew are chewing their nails already, as their last pit stop is over. Nickerson able to clear and gets around Connor Gibson. That's now 4th. Eddie Haggie's next on the list. Haggie starting to pick up the pace. McAtee Consulting Machine trying to see if he can get another groove here. And Yancey following closely behind Jonathan Platt. I got a feeling we'll be back under caution. And this is going to involve Jason Greenwell, Carter Phillips, and Logan Murray. I have not seen Carter Phillips have to serve a drive-through yet here, but he's got a few incident points here. I know this 30's been getting tangled up a bunch here, and we'll see what causes this one. Yeah, Carter Phillips gets in the McMurray there, catches Zemecki. See if we can get a little bit higher here and see how the rest of the field kind of fares getting around it. This is from the Goodyear blimp view. Yep, looks like he kind of lets off there and catches him. That's how Victor Weaver able to squeeze around there. Nolan Gross able to get around there. So some of these guys get away unscathed. Carter Phillips working his way down into pits. Yeah, you can almost feel the frustration on these guys. Nickerson. Pressure's on him now, as his team would love to see him charging forward. Paul Wilson all the way back in 16th. Decided to take tires. But a little late of a call here for Paul Wilson. Bill Harkins took his on 133. So one stop after everybody else, but is yet to pay off. He only moved up to 15th here so far. But yeah, Nickerson on the roll here. And I think this will be his lucky break, honestly. Because if you look at Nickerson, I know Robin Allen wants me to keep an eye on Jonathan Platt out there. But if you look at Nick Nickerson, he'll be able to follow the 43 on his start, which will give Nickerson an opportunity to fight Yancey quickly. I mean, we're talking within 2 to 3 laps, he's going to be in his door. So Kelly Queel rooting on a 1-2 finish as the Perfect Shine Auto Spot take the outside line. Currently 3rd and 5th. Get ready to go here. If I'm not mistaken, taking a look, I think this will be just under a 10-lap shootout. I know Robin Allen is saying watch the start. The 43 car controls the restart. He can go whenever he pleases during the restart zone. That's how the 43 is getting the jump. If Yancey had it, he would be holding every restart as well. So Jonathan Platt, all he's got to do is nail this restart, and he's got it. There he goes. Good jump there. Yancey going to be right on him, and all right, here we go. Got to keep an eye here on Nickerson. Nickerson's got to get around Haggie quick. And it seemed like Nickerson may have had some tire spin right there at the start. He'll be pounding on that steering wheel a little bit, but he'll have a redo here as he holds on to 3rd. I don't know if Ethan Sikorsky has been dumped here. This is well after the caution comes out. Ethan Sikorsky spun around. Thought Jason Greenwell and Logan Murray ended up in some trouble, but it looks like Greenwell's got some heavy damage. Trying to take a peek back here. I don't know what happened to Logan Murray here. Looks like he's serving a drive-through. Sikorsky spun around. That should have been well after the caution. And it's a shame because Sikorsky had fought all the way up here. He had made it. And you see him scrubbing there with Kevin Foster. I don't know if Kevin Foster came down too far. Take a look. Let's see what Foster does here. I don't know if he cuts off Ethan Sikorsky here right as we get into the turn. Yeah, Sikorsky is kind of dive bombing a little bit there, but the 8 does come down and catches him. You see Foster having to slide a little bit. The 94 hard on the brakes because he knows what he's doing. And Bob Berry decides to become his car jack and puts it right underneath that rear bumper. Yikes. But that's also one thing. So when we start discussing with a couple of drivers out there, and Bob Berry one of them, I discussed a little bit about brake bias, and what that does is as you press the brake where it applies more pressure to. You can either apply more pressure to the front brakes, you can apply them to the rear brakes more, or you can actually put it as a 50-50 split and have just the equal amount going to the front tires as much as the rear tires. In Bob Berry's case, if he has taken the brakes and figured and has shifted them toward the rear, the brakes will actually be lagging. That what I mean by that is when you get into the turn and start leaning on the brakes, the front tires are going to try to continue driving through. We're actually stopping the drive tires instead of the steer tires. So when you're driving around other drivers, you want to shift them toward the front. That way you can pivot. The car can shift one way or the other and do it fairly quickly, but it can apply a lot of pressure and a lot of heat to those front tires. Not what you want to do at a very low bank track. So what you do is you actually shift your brake bias to the rear, and that way it'll help you roll through the turn so you can do a little trail braking, and that helps you get a little bit of that middle of the turn speed that you desperately look for out there. In this case, if Bob Berry still had it set up to the rear brakes, that's what caused him to slide underneath Ethan Sikorsky. He's on the brakes, the rear tires lock up, and that car continues to drive in because he wasn't able to shift it up to the front. I mean, I don't think anybody expects any driver to have that thing backwards and sideways, but we get back under green here, 6 laps left to go. And it looks like Ethan Sikorsky was hoping for a top 5 there. Is nixed. Down to 14th he goes. Almost a big of a shock as seeing Logan Murray, who had an awesome roll there, fight on it. Currently, this gives Nickerson one last chance as we single file start here. Nickerson starts 3rd. He's got to figure it out if he's going to get any more. Took a quick tire change there. Like I said, lap 71, everybody took their tires. His came at 127. Pace car is returning back to the track. Currently showing Justin Zemecki currently being divvied a black flag here. And that tells me he may have reached too many incident points. He's going to have to serve a drive-through. So we'll take a look and see if it does involve Zemecki here, because Bob Berry is all the way at the back of the field. Here's Zemecki into the 75. So there's 4X there, and he goes and clears him. Great job by Bob Berry. 1, not sliding up into the field. 2, not hitting the inside wall. But Berry does have damage to the left rear quarter panel of that car. That is kicked up in the back, so he's already fighting a bad downforce problem. He will be scrambling to keep that going. Boy, I wonder if they're going to start back single file. And if there's one thing, if you're a Nick Nickerson fan out there, if there's one thing that if you're hoping for was green flag laps, the stop and go is what's killing Nickerson right now. He needs a long green flag run to see if he can get this. I'm just blown away that the 50 lap advantage he has on his tires, he is still unable to catch our 43. That is just how dominant he is tonight. Which that is absolutely mind-blowing. But I guarantee if there's something you want to learn, something tells me these front three are the ones. So, caution laps do not count here. As we're getting going, we should have a green-white checker flag. This should be our first try. So they'll be getting back going. I've got to say, not being double file here, this is going to be a killer. Jay out there. Yep, he's getting the trail breaking. Now that Jay's out there on the sim rig, he's getting a good feel of what I'm talking about out there. So a couple of things he might take into account next time he gets out there onto the track. Hopefully be returning to the track as well here. Possibly to kind of putt around with these guys. See how fast they really are. Let's go ahead and get her back going. Back under green, 3 laps left to go. All Platt's race. Yancey, tough turn. Platt just driving through. Yancey gonna have to be quick on the attack here. Aggie trying not to dump Nickerson. That was close. Nickerson sandwiched in between the 97 and the 51. Not able to squeak by. White flag this time by. All Jonathan Platt's race here. He's going to be heading across the line one last time and coming around the track. Zemecki serving a drive-through here. Barry Hart is sitting in pit road with Jason Greenwell. And here comes Yancey for the final stab at it and can't get her done. Boy, Yancey tried, though. He was actually sliding sideways through the start-finish line, giving it all she had. See if he could get just a little more there. Just not enough. Great job by Nickerson, though. What a job to fight back and get in there. But Jonathan Platt is going to get the win. So the ESR team, if we were trying to round everything up, the ESR team is doing a heck of a job here, especially with points collecting. We'll see if they go ahead and knock teams down and kind of consider what they're doing here. So excellent job. We'll wrangle our guys up here. I think we'll probably do it here pretty quick. I do want to see if I can go ahead and grab Nick Nickerson while we've got him here. And talk to the number 2 machine. Nickerson, what a run here, dude. Quick job and quick thinking on the pit stop there. But even with a 50-lap tire advantage, dude, you still couldn't run these guys down. What happened?
Yeah, it's just probably just needed a little bit more time. I don't know, it was a bit frustrating. It was just nearly impossible to pass. And with the tire saving, it was like stacking us all up a little bit, so there was very little time in the race to try to different lines because you're kind of scared to get dive bombed yourself. So it's a little bit frustrating, but that's flat cornered short track racing for you. But all in all, it's a pretty good race.
Yeah, I would say very, very tough. I noticed as you're getting through, drivers like David Lakey held you up a little bit. We did kind of watch you a little bit as you shuffled through the field. We had a good amount of green flag laps, but then the caution started rolling out, and I think that's really what killed you here right before we got to the end.
Maybe. I think they might have actually helped me because I was losing so much time passing guys on the outside. Some guys were really trying to hold me up as on my new tires, but those resets just got me that much closer to the leaders and to the next guy I needed to pass. But I don't know. I'm sure it helped me, and you know, didn't help me in other ways. But I don't know. Good race. It was worth a shot. I mean, either that or just sit in third place and finish third place anyways. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to pass any of them.
I was gonna say, at least you gave it a little something there. So pretty tough here, man. A lot of drivers. So we've been to Hickory, we've been to Southern National, we've been to Langley. Next time we come back here in the late models, Myrtle Beach is what we're lining up for. How confident you feel heading to a track like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it next week. Hopefully I can. We'll see. But if we do get the race, I like Myrtle Beach. I mean, it's not super banked. There's no southern, but it's not flat either. So there might be a little bit that we can play around with. It's been a while since we ran these cars there. I think we did do a test session, maybe like before last season, and it seemed to be pretty fun. But we'll see. We'll mess around. Hopefully it'll give us a good show. Be a little passing.
All right, Nick, go ahead and give me a shout outs there, buddy.
Yeah, man, just Bill and all the admins and Kevin, all they do for this league, man. I appreciate you putting on your broadcast, and of course, Perfect Shine Auto Spa. And,
Excellent.
Appreciate everybody that puts this league together, man. It's actually shaping up to be pretty fun.
Yeah, 3rd and 5th for the Perfect Shine Auto Spa, boys. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't get Paul Wilson up there. He's hanging back there in 15th. Looked like a pretty gutsy call to take tires there on lap 141, but we'll see if he's going to do that again at Myrtle.
Heck yeah, man.
See you, Nick. All right, that's going to move us on to our second place finisher of Curtis Yancey. What a run he had. Curtis, dude, did you have anything for John out there?
I mean, there were moments that I think I could have gotten around him, but being a teammate, I'm not going to put both of us in a bad situation. Better to finish 1-2 than how we finished up back in Hickory, where I got disqualified.
Yeah, but I mean, we just Jonathan Platt just got himself the trifecta here, and this is getting pretty crazy at that 43. Every restart, every lap led. I mean, this is getting pretty tight out there. You came back at Hickory, fighting through the entire field like I would say like a bat out of hell, man. You flew through the field, and then just there's only so many times you get bumped and banged around out here, but this was almost a you and him duel out there the entire race.
Yeah, we were in both of those little runs we had. We're both trying to save some tires, be there at the end. Points and trophies are going to get handed out at the end of the race. No point in burning our stuff up lap 10. Got to be there at lap 150. So just saving the tires, keeping everybody behind us, running our race, not making anybody else make us run their race.
Huh. All right. Well, is that going to be the same thing for Myrtle Beach here? I mean, if you qualify on the pole and he comes second, is he going to be following you the whole time?
We'll see. Unfortunately, with me missing last week at Southern National and the way my work schedule is going to be, I'm not going to be able to make it the entire season. So just making some one-off races here and there as soon as my schedule allows me to be there. So obviously I'm not running for points. I'm not going to mess up a points race, but if I get the chance to get a win, I'm going to try to take it.
All right, man. Well, we're going to hold you to that. If your work schedule does work out like that, Five Flag Speedway is when I will see you next into February already. Go ahead and give me a shout out here, Curtis.
Yeah, just want to thank everybody for tuning in, all the fans, all the racers here. Pretty good race compared to Hickory. I think we figured out how to game the system with iRacing, with how we have the starts and restarts going, and lucky dogs and all that stuff. So thanks to Bill, thanks to Kevin for figuring all that stuff out. Thank you for putting on such an amazing broadcast as always. Again, thanks to my teammates. Wanted to finish 1, 2, 3. Connor got made a couple little mistakes there towards the end. So finished what? I think he finished 6th. So
yep,
not a bad finish for the team.
Yeah, not bad at all. And I know I think Ethan Sikorsky, boy, that boy got bumped, banged around, and pinballed out there tonight. Hopefully he can slow his roll and figure out how to get on through. Curtis, appreciate you joining us here tonight, man. Awesome job once again, and can't wait to see what you're doing here in a couple of weeks.
Thanks. See you in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Curtis Yancey as our second place driver. That moves us on to our winner here of the night. Jonathan, congratulations, buddy. You got the trifecta here. 3 races in a row you've won. It seems like this is almost an underhanded pitch for you.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked. I really don't like this racetrack.
That's what you said, but here we are. Dude, it seemed it was every single restart. I have a couple of questions for you. I know you and Curtis Yancey are on the same team, but I've got to admit, I kind of expected Curtis to actually apply more pressure to you. I mean, you were very close within a quarter of a second almost all race, but he never really seemed to gun it for your spot. And my second question is Nick Nickerson taking tires on lap 127. Were you nervous of him charging back forward?
So to answer the Curtis thing, like we kind of played some teammate restarts there. That's why I always took the top on the restarts and I would clear down into one, just to kind of protect him a little bit. And we basically rode the entire race. We had that third set kind of stashed there in the pits, and we knew it was going to be an option. But I mean, we kind of talked about it before the race, and we kind of knew that it would be dependent on how many cars are on the lap and when the caution does fall. So going into the second one, like, yeah, we kind of contemplated coming down pit road there with that 25 to go caution. And I just kind of told everybody, like Curtis and Connor and them, I was like, the pit call is going to be on me. Just follow me. And I looked at it and it was like 19 people in the lead lap. And I'm like, yeah, we got to stay out here. And luckily, I think it was only 7 that came down pit road. So I know we had a pretty big buffer of old tires that they probably wouldn't get to us, especially if it went green, I felt. But with the cautions that we did have, Nick was able to get there. And I mean, he was kind of in a position where he had to do something to try and win a race. So kudos to him for trying to make it work. Honestly, if we'd have probably had 10 more laps and it kind of got strung out, it probably would have worked.
Wow. Yeah, it was pretty tough. Nick definitely having to fight through a lot of traffic to get back up to you guys. I thought Eddie Haggy coming in on lap 93 was a pretty gutsy call. It looked like I was like, dang, this guy's going to have at least a 20-lap advantage. But then Nickerson doubling that and trying to go after you guys, I think it was really, really a really awesome call. But Myrtle Beach is where we head next. A lot different from a track like this. It's not. I think it won't marble up as fast as this track did because you guys will have a little more banking there. But you got to have a higher confidence level heading into Myrtle Beach than you did here at Langley.
100%. I'm from Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is home to me, so it's literally my favorite racetrack on the service. And we've had a really good season so far, so I feel like anything but a win there is kind of disappointing. But kind of going to that one, just kind of open-minded, and hopefully it goes good.
All right, Jonathan, go and give me a shout-out here, brother.
First want to shout out Bill, all the admins, Nick, Kevin, everybody that does anything for this league. They've turned it around pretty damn well these last couple weeks. Shout out to you for broadcasting. It's kind of cool to go back and watch these races after we're done and kind of see what mistakes were made and stuff like that. So then again, clear low on the car, pull down LBM, Kate Lapsich Motorsports, and that's about it.
All right, Jonathan Platt, congratulations, buddy. It seems you can't be stopped. And we'll see. I'll have to take a look up in the dictionary and see what it means when you go 4 for 4. If you end up taking away Myrtle Beach here. Congratulations here at Langley, buddy, and we'll let you celebrate with your teammates.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, everybody. That is the number 43 of Jonathan Platt. 3 for 3. This dude is on a roll. I don't know how he's going to be stopped, but we're going to have to figure it out. This guy just keeps putting race after race after race together, and he can definitely seem to get the job done one after another. All righty, that should do it for us here with the Bandit Racing League. Appreciate you guys hanging out and joining along with us. Missy, Robin Allen, Ambone, Kelly Queel, obviously, Jay out there on the chat. And you guys are just awesome out there. Don't forget to have your friends subscribe out there. I think I'm a little more than 25 off of hitting that 1,000 mark. I'm still scrambling to get to that. It just seems to be something just not quite obtainable for us, but I think we'll get it here pretty soon. But that's going to do it for us here at Simtrax Broadcasting, bringing you the Bandit Racing League. Be well, be safe, be kind, and we'll see all you guys next time.